Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Code with Rajeshwari. In this channel, we are diving into some exciting iOS development topics. If you are looking to expand your knowledge of Swift programming or enhance your development skills, you have come to the right place. Let's get started. In today's video, we are going to talk about functions. Functions are one of the fundamental building blocks of programming, and understanding them will help you to write clean and reusable code. We'll cover how to create functions and understand parameters and the return types and even take a look about closures. So let's get started. So first let's talk about what is function. A function is a block of code that you can all perform to a specific task. Think of it as a mini programming inside your program. You define the function once and then you can use it over and over again, which makes your code more organized and easier to read. Parameters are values that you pass into a function as an input or you'll receive output as a function. So it can work with different kind of inputs. Now let's talk about what are return types. Sometimes you want to your function to perform a task then give something back like a result. That's where the return type comes in. Some functions don't need to have a return value and that's a perfectly fine. For example, a function that prints something to the console doesn't need a return type. So finally, we have closures. Closures are self-contained blocks of functionality that can be passed around and used in your code. They are very similar to functions, but they don't have a specific name and they can be used in places where you would use a function. Let's create a sample playground example to understand better. Here is how to define a simple function in Swift. FUNC means this is the keyword used to define the function and greet is a function name. In this example, I have created a function called greet. The keyword FUNC is used to define the function. It doesn't take any input and it just print hello Swift inside when I call this function. To call this function, you just use its name followed by parenthesis. So I'm just creating created a function and I'm just going to call this grid function. So once I call this function, I should see the output as hello Swift inside the function. Notice how the function name greet followed by parenthesis is used to run the code inside the function. It's the simple. So, for example, let's create a function that greets a specific person, which is where the function with argument comes. So, I created a func greet with name as string. So, here with the name parameter, I'm just using a string data type. And in this function, I have added a parameter called name and it's of the string. When we call the function, we will provide a name as an argument and how we'll be calling this function. So inside this I'm just printing hello with name which I'll be passing. I'm going to pass Rajeshwari as the argument for the name parameter. The function then it prints hello Rajeshwari. So let's see how it will get print in the console. So I'm calling the greet with the name and I'm passing the name as Rajeshwari. And if I run this line number 18, I'll be seeing the output as hello Rajeshwari. So here I see the error came because it's a string interpolation. So in previous we need to call like this, but now we don't have the slash mark when we call the parameter name inside the print statement. So if I remove that, the function will get run and in the console I'll see the hello Rajeshwari as an output. So functions can have multiple parameters also. Let's see another example where we greet someone with both their first and last name. Just take the same function with the same function name, but passing with the two different arguments. And if you see the line number 20, I'm just creating a example for multiple parameters, and I have taken the same parameter name which I have taken in the above for function as parameters. And here I'm adding a first name and last name and printing both the first name and last name parameters. And we can call it like this, like greet. The first name I'm just going to pass Rajeshwari, and the last name I'm just going to pass string as Pulikanti. So the output I should see as Rajeshwari Pulikanti. So functions can have multiple parameters, and you can pass any value that matches the specific specified type in the parameter. So running the 26 line, if you see, I have passed the multiple parameters. So in the same way, if you want more parameters also, you can pass it by adding a comma in the function declaration. And the functions can have the return values also. Let's talk about what is return value. A return type is the kind of value that a function gives back after it runs. Sometimes a function will do some work and then return a result. Let's say we want a function that do the addition of two numbers. I'm just going to create how that works. So with the same as func keyword and additional, so adding add and a as integer and b as also integer, because we just need the addition by passing a two integers. So inside this function I am doing the mathematical operations. So these are higher order functions. We will discuss these in the next future videos. So when I do this return a plus b, so since these both are integers, I'm just, it's a simple logic here. So in this example, the function add takes two integers a and b and returns the sum of value, which is also an integer, and it should return something, right? So if I directly run this, and since I have added a return at line number 34, if I'll directly add this and run this, so I'll get an error because unexpected non-void return value in void function, because we have not returned any value in the line number 33. So we have to go back here and we have to add a return keyword. So return keyword in the sense, in the return type what we are expecting. So in my case, I am expecting integer as in return type. So if I'll run this program, so you'll see how the output will be visible. Now we can call the function and store the results in a variable. So the results is the variable. Notice that after the function calculate the sum, it returns the value and we can use it however we want. So in my case, I am passing 5 and 4. So the addition of these two values are 9. The another example with no return values. If there is no return value, you simply don't specify a return type. Here is the example. So I'm just taking another print greetings function. So by passing a name with a data type as string. So here I should see the output of this particular function with greetings name. So whatever I'll name here, I'll pass it. I should see that as an output. This function just prints a greetings, but it doesn't return anything. We can call like this. So print greetings name, I'll be calling and I'll be sending it as Rajeshwari. In the output, I should see greetings Rajeshwari. Even though this function doesn't return a value, it's still really useful because it performs a tasks. So finally, this is how we'll be creating different kind of functions with the arguments and with return types and with no return values. Let's just talk about closures. So a closure is a block of code that can be passed around and used in your program just like a function. But the big difference is that closures don't have a specific name. Here is an example of a closure. I'm just going to create a let closure with the name say hello, and inside it I'm just passing a simple name with a string as a data type, and we should add a void keyword inside the closure declaration. This closure is similar to function. It takes a name parameter and prints a greeting, but inside that, instead of being defined with func, we use curly braces to create it. If you see here, let's say hello at line number 53. So I'm just using a curly braces to create it. To call the closure, we just use its name and pass in an argument, like directly say hello with what we are going to pass. For example, I'm just sending my name. In the output, I should see hello Raji. So closures are really just nameless function, and they are recommended to use. So when the Swift things for like handling events or performing tasks asynchronously. Basically, closures will play a very important role when we do the asynchronous calls in the Swift programming language. So we will discuss about what are closures in detail in the coming video, with what kind of closures we will be using in Swift programming. So there are several types of closures we will be using in. So we'll discuss them in the coming videos. To wrap it up, functions in Swift are powerful tools that let you organize your code and perform tasks on multiple times. You can pass data into functions using parameters and return values to get results, and use closures to handle tasks in a clean and reusable way. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to watch more videos like this. And if you have any questions or ideas for future videos, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.